Music producers, what up? My name is AJ Hall and I make drum breaks and melodic samples. Today I'm going to be checking out a plugin bundle from the homies at Air Music Tech. There are so many crazy effects and plugins inside this one bundle, so let's dive in and check it out. Alright, so first up is the Air Delay Pro. Now this is quickly becoming one of my favorite delay plugins. Not only is it capable of what most delay plugins on the market are already capable of, and then some, but it has a special feature that I really love inside of it, and that's an actual wobble feature. Because when you're using real tape delays like a Space Echo or something like that, you often get the natural tape warble just from the tape moving in and out. Or just on these old recordings, when you hear somebody using a delay pedal, you're hearing either the vinyl actually warping or the tape speed fluctuating, just old school vinyl characteristics of pitch warbling, right? That's actually built into this delay plugin. So I'm able to take a nice felt piano sound like this, and with one click turning on the Air Delay Pro with that wobble section on, that pitch warbling built into the delay saves me so much time, man. Instant vintage. Next up is the Air Diode Clip. To my ears, what I use this thing for is to emulate clipping the input signal of an old sampler like an S950 or an MPC 2000XL or a SP1200. You get that vintage kind of bit crushed grit. Here's a drum break that I made with that drum set back there and that tape machine without the Diode Clip. Now picture blasting the input of an MPC 60 or an MPC 2000XL or something similar. Beautiful, man. Okay, so the next plugin that I've been using a whole bunch is the Air Enhancer. I love putting this on my 808s and running it parallel at 50% wet mix. We've got a high gain, a low gain, and output control, and a low pass and high pass for actually setting which frequencies you're affecting, as well as a harmonics knob, and you can switch the phase on the plugin too. So here is an analog 808 that I made from scratch on a synth. The low gain all the way up, but the mix at 50%. Listen to how much thicker the 808 is. Nasty, man. The next plugin I got to talk about is the Air Flavor. We all love to go for things with just more of that indie vintage kind of vibe, right? We like to make our melodic samples sound like older melodic samples. We like to make our recordings in general sound super duper vintage at times, right? That's exactly what you go to this plugin for. You've got controls over vinyl style distortion and noise from the vinyl. You've got a knob in here called Mono-Fi, which you can actually change how mono the actual sound source gets. You've got a flutter knob. Probably my favorite feature of this plugin is you have a giant selection of different speaker emulations. It just gives you an EQ curve of sounding like an old school boombox, maybe an old school telephone, maybe a bass amp, maybe a guitar amp, a big studio, a small studio. Right now I've got it set on the Gramophone 2, like the old Victrola record players, right? Here's a melodic sample that I just made a couple days ago. Okay, so now, with the Air Flavor on top of it, we've instantly transformed it into an old dirty 45 record. So killing and so quick to get that sound, most importantly. The next plugin I've really been feeling from this bundle is the Air Half Speed. So it's exactly what it sounds like. It can literally take any audio source and play it back half speed in real time. Here's a melodic sample I made a couple of weeks ago. One click of a button inside the Air Half Speed and you get this. One of the killing things that this plugin does that not a lot of other half-speed plugins do, if you were to automate the on and off switch with this plugin right here, you can control how long it takes the plugin to fade in and out based on the BPM of your session. So right now I have the fade out set to 1 bar and the fade in set to 1 bar as well. I'm literally just gonna play the sample and I'm gonna click this plugin on and off. Listen to it fade in and out of the halftime. killing effect you can use for like an outro to a song or even an intro to a song. Next plugin, which has really become one of my favorites, is the Air Stereo Width. One of the things that's great about this plugin is you're able to multiply the stereo width of your signal, but you can actually choose from the 3 frequency bands, the low, highs, and the mids, how much, if any, you want to actually process. Which means I can send the mids and the highs way out into the stereo field without affecting the lows. So I really love doing this kind of thing with a really, really dark synth bass. Here's my synth bass without the stereo width. Now, preserving the low end in the center because I've got the lows turned down to 0, I'm only processing the mids and the highs with the stereo width. This really helps when you start adding distortion to like a nasty synth bass, because you can preserve the actual low end. You can put the growl and only the growl of the synth out into the stereo field. That effect will work really well for any background vocals or just reverbs that you really want to send way out into the stereo field. So I used to think I had all of the Spring Reverb plugins, but I was wrong until I got the Air Spring Reverb that's part of this bundle. Here's a drum break sample that I made that's pretty dry. It doesn't have a lot of reverb on it yet. Now, the unmistakable sound of a Spring Reverb, here it is with it. So useful for a background reverb or for just a giant delay throw on a vocal. You've got controls over your pre-delay, actually how long the reverb goes on for, of course a mix knob. You've got a low cut frequency if you want to not have the kick drum going through it. And you've actually got controls over the reverb itself with the diffusion and the actual stereo width. If you want a mono Spring Reverb on your track, got it right there. One of the things every good drum break maker needs, and honestly what every good producer needs, is a Transient Shaper. So you've got a Transient Shaper right here in the effects bundle. It allows me to take a drum break sample that I made and turn it from this into this. Or you can turn it into this if you want. You've got controls over attack, the actual shape of the attack, which is taking it from a triangle shaped attack all the way down to a curved shape attack. And you've got controls over the sustain and the actual output. All right, so let me know what you guys think of this effects bundle, man. I didn't even go over all of them. I just went over my favorites, man. You've got so many effects in here. You've got an amp simulator, a channel strip plugin that's modeled after an SSL board. You've got compressors, 3 different types of choruses, 2 different types of delays, 4 different types of distortions, expanders, gates, frequency shifters, limiters, compressors, maximizers. You've got pitch shifting. You've got 2 different types of filters. You've got everything you need from basic plugins to get your mix started, all the way up to super creative plugins for sound designing, sample processing, and beat making. So that's gonna wrap it up for me, AJ Hall. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, man.